Now, at some point, I'm sure he's going to retire. But when he retires, he might want to look for another job. You know, very few of us nowadays are lucky enough to just retire and not work at all. And many of us want to keep our hand in a different job. So he has gone to ABC Company here and realized that they have done a job profile for the job he wants. And the skill levels on skill A is 4, B 6, C 3, and skill D is a 5. Well, Walter went to Roanoke-Chowan Community College, and he took his skill assessments. Now, I don't know, do you have your CRC? I haven't even asked you, Walter. But you don't have it yet? We'll talk to you later. But he went to the community college, he took his skill assessments. And on the 4 skill assessments required for that job, you can see that Walter scored a 3, a 5, a 3, and a 4. So, in the effort to use this as a career counseling tool for Walter, the person at the JobLink Career Center or at the community college said to him, Walter, you need to increase your skill level. 1 level in skill A, 1 in B, and 1 in D. I love this slide. It shows very clearly what an individual needs to do to bridge those skills gaps and to get to the point where they can obtain and be successful in that new job. Or where they can get into a program of study and know that they have those foundational skills in order to complete that program of study successfully. Okay? Okay, here's a problem with career counseling. Mr. Hook is trying to decide between a career in pirating or massage therapy. Okay, I'm not sure he has the qualifications for both of those careers. We've talked a little bit about what the Career Readiness Certificate is. We've talked about what the work key system is that the Career Readiness Certificate is based on. Now, I want to ask you the question, why do we need the Career Readiness Certificate in North Carolina? Okay? 2 reasons. Number 1, workforce development. Again, we want to have the best workforce in the nation. Okay? We want to bridge that skills gap, develop our workforce so that North Carolina has that highly skilled workforce in order to what? Come on, you guys know the answer to that. Attract new businesses and help the businesses that are here to expand and to be successful. Okay, so on the workforce development side, we want to bridge the skills gap and provide a way for individuals to prove that they have the skills to be successful in the jobs required. Okay, and the way that we're going to do that is through our community colleges with the skills upgrade software. The 2 ACT approved programs are WIN and KeyTrain. What have you guys got here, Andre? KeyTrain, okay? These are programs that have been approved by ACT to prepare people to be successful on the WorkKeys assessments and earn their career readiness certificates. Notice that's provided by the community colleges, paper-based or internet-based, and a very individualized program. Before the CRC came into play, if an individual came to the college, the first thing they did was take a placement test. Okay? Now, after I've been out of school 25 years, if you gave me a placement test, I guarantee that I would have to brush up my math as well as several other areas. So what happened is we realized as the individuals were coming back to the college and needing to take new training, they had to brush up some of their math, reading skills, things like that. Well, in the academic world, we're based on what? What type of time frames? Semesters. Okay? So if a person needed to brush up their math, what do we do with them? Put them into a semester-long course. The first 3/4 of that course might have been information that they already knew, but we didn't really have a vehicle to put them into that course halfway through like they needed to be. With the WorkKey system and the KeyTrain and WIN programs, it is customized to the individual. The person does a skills evaluation, and they start immediately where they need to be. Okay? Takes about 20 hours, maybe a little bit more sometimes, to go from one level to the next in one skill. So we can take that individual And rather than having them sit through a class for a whole semester and possibly getting bored because they know half of it, we can put them where they need to be and let them start immediately where they need to be and move forward from that point. Okay? What that also does for an individual and an employer is gives them a second chance at employment. Okay, well, where are the employers in here? Where are some of my employers? Okay? When somebody came to you guys and said, I really want this job, and you looked at their resume, you talked to them in their application, and they didn't have the skills necessary to do the job in the past, what did you say to them? Sorry. Sorry, we can't help you. You know, we would love to hire you. We think you'd be a good employee, but you just don't have what we need. With the CRC, what we're providing is a second chance for that individual and for the employer. Now, as an employer, you can say to that individual, hey, go over to the community college, upgrade your skill levels, say in locating information or applied math, and then come back to me as soon as you can. So, not only does it give that individual a second chance at employment, but it gives the employer a second chance at what could potentially be a very good employee. Okay? Okay, whoops. Okay, on the workforce development side, from the job seeker's perspective, this is a letter that was written to AB Tech after an individual got a job. His experience with the Work Key Skills Assessment, Mr. Lanzi. I took the Work Key Skills Assessment test on April 10th, earned a gold CRC. On April 14th, he had a job interview. Interview was hired 6 hours later. The skills assessment is what sealed the deal. That's pretty good testimonial to this system. I love this slide because down at the bottom, notice what he says. Job is driving a tour bus, and I will be, wait, what does he say? Oh, he has 16 pages that have to be memorized and given in a cheerful manner. But then he assures us that he will be driving the bus in a safe manner. So with a daughter in Asheville, I am glad to hear that Mr. Lanzi will be driving that bus in a safe manner. But that's an individual's testimonial to what the CRC does for an individual. On the economic development side, remember we said 2 reasons we need the CRC in North Carolina. For the individual, workforce development, and on the employer side, economic development. Through the CRC database, which is located on our website, we are able to prove to the world what kind of a skilled workforce North Carolina has. How many of you have ever been in a meeting with a new company or a company that was talking to you about expanding? Anybody? Yeah, I thought surely we have a few people in here who've done that. And what's one of the first questions that that employer asks? Labor force, right there. What kind of a workforce, what kind of a labor market do you have? Can you support my business? Okay, what do the economic developers say at that point? Yeah, if it was me, I'd say, oh, absolutely, you wouldn't believe what a great workforce we have in this area. Okay, well, of course, what's the employer going to do? Employer, what are you going to do when somebody says that to you? You're going to go, oh, yeah? Tell me how. Prove it. Okay? Up until now, the only thing that economic developer really could say is, oh, well, you know, we have a pretty good high school graduation rate, and Joe, you know, he gets up every morning. I see him going down the street at 6 o'clock in the morning, goes to work. Mary comes home 5 o'clock every day. They're really committed, which of course is very important, but that's not what the employer is looking for at this point. What they're looking for is to know that you have individuals who can learn the new higher tech skills that almost any type of company or business now requires. Okay, economic development people, I'm going to give you a tool. Go to www.crcnc.org. You can search our database by 6 different geographic criteria, such as county, workforce development board area, economic development area, zip code, community college, and even by high school now, to see how many individuals have their career readiness certificates and at what levels. You can also search by date ranges, lots of different ways. So we've provided a tool. Now that the individuals can prove their skills, We're going to prove it to the world.